Welcome back to my channel. Oh my God, okay. So in 2015, I was December Playmate, and I was Playmate of the Year in 2016. I was the third Black Playmate of the Year and the first non-nude Playmate in history. So it was a cultural reset. It was a good little moment. And oh my God, this is how that happened. Number one, this is what you have to know about me. For when I was 20 years old, I had to pose nude on a rooftop for the semifinals of America's Next Top Model. Literally from Palmdale, California, to being nude on a rooftop on national TV in front of a bunch of girls I don't know and in front of a whole production crew that I don't know either. And back then, I actually was never really afraid to be naked. No, let me be completely honest. I was only 20 years old. Who knows about posing nude in front of people? Nobody. What was going on was I needed to get on that show because that was my ticket out of Palmdale. And they said, this is the challenge. And I said, okay. And what I had to go through my brain at 20 years old when they said you have to pose nude in front of everybody outside on a rooftop in Los Angeles, California, in the middle of Hollywood, California. I said, well, who do you have to become to be okay with this? Who do you got to become to be okay with this? So literally in my brain, I go, let's do it. And I think I mentally detached. There's something, that day, there was something that I lost. There's something that I left in Palmdale. And I said, okay, bitch, we're moving forward. We're doing this. We're doing it. We're moving forward. Fuck whatever you're supposed to think as a Christian. Fuck whatever you're supposed to think as like Pi. She don't live here no more. Whoever thought you were prude or shy or quiet, that ain't you no more. Let's go. So I think I went I volunteered to go like third or fourth because I was like, let's just do this shit. Took my clothes off, got on the platform, and did my thing, and I didn't think nothing of it. And actually, I decided to make it fun. And actually, I decided to say, okay, if everybody's gonna look at me be naked, then look at me. And actually, I said, I'm gonna take as long and as much time as I possibly can on this platform. And I'm literally just gonna go for it and not be shy about it. And so that is my Playboy origin story. Right there. So now we gotta just understand that none of this is far-fetched. None of this is far-fetched. It's actually, that was subtle foreshadowing if we want to get really, really crazy about it. You know what I mean? That was just, giving me a preview of what is to come. So what's interesting is Playboy has been a part of my life for a long time. The first time I saw a Playboy magazine, I was in 4th grade. My babysitter had 2 sons, and I caught them behind the dumpster one time looking at a Playboy magazine, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Fast forward, after Top Model, I'm a model, right? And I'm living in LA. I'm coming out of a casting in Culver City, and this woman pulls up beside me while I'm walking to my car, and she's in this dark blue BMW. She's this black woman. She's this older black lady. And I remember she had this silk headscarf on, very, very colorful, silk headscarf. And she had a Louis Vuitton bag in the passenger seat. And she pulled over and she said, excuse me, have you ever posed for Playboy? And I said, no, I haven't. And she said, well, you should. take my card. I work at the office and you should just come in and see everybody. And I was like, okay, thank you. And I took the card and I didn't think anything of it. I just kind of put it in my purse and kept walking. But I remember the lady. And at this time, I think I was around 24. And so Playboy for me was a little too premature. And then probably a couple months later, I got a call from my agent saying that French Playboy wanted to shoot me. And they put me on hold for it. And I was like, well, okay. And then the hold got released a couple days later. And that was just it. And then fast forward to me moving to New York. And this might have been 2011, 2012. 2012. That was a very good year. This was 2012. And it was my birthday. It was like October 5th. 6th, something. October 5th, let's say that. My agents called and they said, they want to shoot you for Playboy's 60th anniversary edition in Utah. And you leave on the 7th. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So I go to Moab, and the theme for their 60th anniversary edition, I'm sorry, let me say that again. Their theme for the Playboy 60th anniversary issue was cowboys or cowgirls. So it was me and another black girl that were cowgirls, and we were riding on these horses naked in the middle of the desert in Moab, Utah. And it was such an epic shoot and an epic time. We were there for about 3 days. It was my first actual paid nude editorial. And when stuff happens to me like that, I'm the person that goes, okay, let's just jump in and do it, right? Everybody was so respectful, so professional. Everybody made us feel so comfortable, and it was really, really great. I remember by the third shoot day, I was tired of being naked and just being outside naked and standing around in front of people naked. So that I was like, okay, let me make a mental note of that. I have boundaries, and I need, there's only so long I could just do this. Like, it was fine, but it's like, I just don't want to be standing out here naked like this, you know? Anyways, that was a beautiful shoot. I did it, and I just went on with my life. Because for me, it was considered just another shoot, just another job, right? And I consider myself a bombshell for sure. And so my goal in modeling was to do Sports Illustrated. The first time I saw the cover of Sports Illustrated, it was Adriana Lima. I was in 7th grade, maybe 8th grade, maybe even 9th grade, I don't know. But I was in Food for Less. I looked at the cover of the magazine and I saw her. She had this big palm tree leaf that was covering her front, and she was topless. And she was just so beautiful. And I bought the magazine, and I was like, oh my gosh, one day I'm going to be on the cover of that magazine. So Sports Illustrated has always been one of my dreams. My first actual job was Victoria's Secret when I was 18 or 9. I would think I was 18, 19, something like that. I worked at Victoria's Secret. And just being in that atmosphere. And I loved Christmas time at Victoria's Secret, because that's when they did the beautiful ads and the beautiful Christmas commercials, and just all the lingerie and the bras and the colors were just so beautiful. And I remember I was at the cash register. I was working the cash wrap, and one girl came up to me and she looked behind me. I think it was Salida Ebanks in the ad behind me, behind the cash wrap. And she looked at me and she said, oh my God, is that you? And I was like, oh no, girl, I wish. And she was like, well, it should be. You should definitely be a Victoria's Secret model. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you, you know? And for me, that was like a little bit of confirmation. So I say all that to say, my reasoning for going into modeling, or my goal, how I saw myself as a model was a Victoria's Secret model, a Sports Illustrated model, doing a lot of swim, doing a lot of lingerie, just because that's my vibe. Like, I'm a sexy girl, I'm a glamorous girl, a very beautiful girl. And with modeling, it only depends on what you look like, and you have to know yourself and know exactly how to sell yourself. I always knew how to sell myself. I always knew what looked best on me, which was just very glamorous, bombshell, swim lingerie sort of thing. Just very, very beautiful, very pretty. So keep in mind, that's what I thought about myself. Swim, lingerie, Sports Illustrated, Victoria's Secret. My agents never sent me to any of them when I asked to go. When I asked to go to Victoria's Secret, they never wanted to send me. They were completely hating. There was always a reason why not. And I would say, look at me, this just makes sense. Let's make this money. Let's make it work, you know? And they were just like, no, Eugenia, no, we just can't send you, no. So I was like, okay. I remember one time asking my agent to send me to Sports Illustrated. I was like, I know what to say as soon as I get in that office. Just let me meet MJ so I can talk to her and she'll love me and we'll get this thing going. My agent goes, well, Eugenia, you don't have any images with swim and lingerie, so we can't really pitch you or send you over there. So she says, she pulls up this other girl, this Latin girl. And she said, we just sent her to Sports Illustrated, but they didn't like her. And look at the pictures she has. So she pulls up this girl's pictures, and they were like cute little swim pictures or whatever. But for me, I was like, I'm black, so it's different. I stand out. I'm black. There's not a black girl that looks like me, so that's what makes me different. Don't compare me to this Spanish girl. We're in two different leagues. But she was just like, no, you just don't have the pictures to submit. So I said, okay, I'll get the pictures. Is there any photographers I can work with that would shoot great swim and great lingerie? So she gave me 3 photographers that I can contact. One was Josh Ryan. And so when I got home that evening, I emailed all 3 of them. And I said, hi, my name is Eugenia Washington. I sent them some images. I said, I really want to do some really great swim and lingerie images. And I would love to shoot with you. I'll be in LA next week, or I'll be in LA in the next couple weeks. Can we please shoot? And Josh Ryan replied to me and he said, oh my gosh, I would love to shoot you. I think you're so beautiful. Let's do it when you're in LA. I go to LA 2 weeks later. I meet with Josh and we plan our shoot, over this course of time. And he said, I would actually love to shoot you for Treats Magazine. I am a photographer for Treats Magazine, which is like a implied nude magazine. So I was like, okay, fine. I get there and the shoot was beautiful. At that point, it was one of my favorite shoots. Now, definitely nude. Oh my gosh, I kind of have the same hair. Shut the front. This is the same hair, basically, that I shot Treats with, except it was light brown. Aw, Eugenia, that was so cute. Okay. But look at this shoot. That was a really good shoot right there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought they were so beautiful. And I loved shooting with Josh because he allowed me to be beautiful. And he knew how to capture my skin tone. He knew how to capture my face. And a lot of people who shoot me don't know how to capture my essence, my face, and my skin tone. So I really appreciated him for that experience. So that happened. And I bring it to my agency. At first, they just wanted me to do test shoots. I didn't have enough test shoots. So I went out and with intentions of getting test shoots, I ended up in a magazine, this beautiful editorial in a magazine. So I said, oh my gosh, look, I have these shots. Look, they're so beautiful. They were like, ooh, who'd you shoot this with? And I said, with Josh, the photographer that you sent me. And they were just kind of like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, we don't want to put these in your book because they're nude and they are not appropriate for the workplace. so we can't really use these. And I was like, oh my gosh, come on. You know, I went above and beyond, and you still are finding a reason for me to not be good enough, or for a reason for you not to use me or put me in the place I need to be. So I'm like, ugh, okay. I ended up leaving that agency because just they kept doing stuff like that to me over and over and over again. I asked them to submit me to Sephora. They said they're not shooting black girls right now, so it's gonna be hard to submit you. I go, okay, fine. I go to LA the next week. I get sent on an audition for a CoverGirl commercial that they've been auditioning for like 2 weeks prior. They couldn't find a girl. I walk in, I bedazzle and wow the director, and he's like, oh my gosh, we're hiring you today. Not only that, but it was a commercial for a CoverGirl Queen collection with Sam Fine and Queen Latifah.
Cue the look, cue the eyes, cue the tips for lips. I'm here with amazing makeup artist Sam Fine from CoverGirl. Sam, let's share the secret to a foolproof lip look.
Queen Collection Jumbo Gloss Balm. All you have to do is twist up and glide on.
Perfect soft color and shine.
Pencil application, so easy to use. Easy, breezy, beautiful.
That's my Jumbo Gloss Balm. Up your beauty queue right here at covergirl.com/beautyqueue.
Like my dream job. And it was 2 separate commercials. So I bring that back to Major, like, look, I just shot 2 CoverGirl commercials with Queen Latifah and Sam Fine. And they're like, oh, well, that's nice. Oh, okay, good for you. And they ended up not working me for the next month because I guess in retaliation for me shooting this big job without them booking it. But they just told me I wasn't good enough for Sephora. So I had this relationship with my modeling agents where I would tell them what I wanted to do. They would tell me I was not good enough. I would go off and do it myself. Have this big explosion of a job and a moment, create this big opportunity for myself, bring it back to them and tell them, look, I'm good enough. So here's the materials. So please submit me where I need you to submit me. And they would, in retaliation, just to show me that I wasn't good enough or just to punish me, stop me from working. So that was the pattern with major models, and that's why I dropped them. So here's how Playboy came into action for real. I was living in New York still at the time. I switched agencies from Major to Wilhelmina. And I think I was about 29 at the time. At the time, I was in the best shape of my life. Hair, skin, everything on point. Well, I've always been in the best shape of my life. But still, what I'm saying is, I was looking great. That's our job. So I go into Wilhelmina. Let me rewind. I had a problem with them because I was 29 and they kept trying to tell me that I was old, and they started sending me to mom castings and 40-year-old castings when I looked like a baby, and so I wasn't booking anything, and they were looking at me like, well, I don't know what to do with you. You mean, like, you know, maybe this is it for you. Maybe your career is done before it even started, because they were doing it wrong. So I said, why don't you guys just submit me to Sports Illustrated? My agent sits me down and she goes, this white girl named Ashley. She sits me down and she goes, Eugenia, let me show you this. So she pulls up the rookies for that year, and she goes, this girl's better than you, this girl's better than you. Look at this girl, this girl's beautiful. All these girls are up here and you're down here. So it's just not gonna work. I sat there and I was like, because for me, I was like, I don't think that girl's cute. I mean, she's pretty, yeah, but then also so am I. So there is no, like, this one's better than you. It's like, okay, integrate me into the fold. Them being up here, I didn't understand what that meant. Looks-wise, experience-wise, personality-wise, magnetism-wise, we're on the same level. So I was just like, just throw me in the fold. Girl, she said no. She said, you are down here. That made me so mad. And I was like, man, fuck you, Ashley. And I knew I was going to quit modeling after that because I couldn't be, it just wasn't fair to me to look like this and be told that I wasn't shit, you know? So I said, okay, that's going to come back around. I'm going to get her back because I'm not going to have this fucking whack ass beige white girl tell me that I'm not good enough for Sports Illustrated. That's not going to fly. And I made a mental note and I said, okay, that's going to come back around. I'm not sure how that's going to come back around, but that's going to come back around. Probably a month later, I left the agency, I quit, and I came back to LA. And I was like, man, fuck modeling. I can't handle this anymore. I came back to LA because I was going to start a sock line. And drama with that. So I ended up working at a dispensary because I just wanted to restart. I worked at a weed shop, a cannabis dispensary for a while. And one day I got a call from Josh Ryan, that same photographer. And he was like, hey, Eugenia, I shoot for Playboy and we are doing another round for Playmate of next year. And I wanted you to come, see if you wanted to come and test for Playmate. And, you know, we could possibly aim for a cover. And my sister was sitting next to me and I said, give me a second to think about it and I'll call you back. I hung up and I was like, Christy, my friend Josh asked me if I wanted to shoot for Playboy or test for Playmate. Should I? And we might be aiming for a cover. Should I do it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So I called Josh back and I was like, Josh, I'm doing it. Let's go. So he said, okay, come into the Playboy office tomorrow. We're gonna do a test and we're gonna send it to Mr. Hefner and see if he likes you. I go in and I do the test. I wish I had those images because they were so good. Just a test shoot, basically with me in a bra and panties and a gray background and just like, you know, doing the thing. So he's like, okay, well, we'll send these to Mr. Hefner and we'll let you know if we're going to bring you in for Playmate. So I said, okay. When I left, I said, so I am going to be Playmate. And since I'm going to be a Playmate, then I'll just go for Playmate of the Year as well, since we're here. That's what I said when I left that office. 2 days later, Josh called me and said, Eugenia, are you sitting down? And I was like, yeah, I'm sitting down. He said, well, congratulations, you're one of the newest Playboy Playmates of 2015. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you know, very happy, very pleased. And that was it. We went on planning my, what am I saying? Sorry, hold on. I had a whole buzzkill. So after that, we went on planning my editorial, which was, we shot that in the Culver City Hotel. It was just something very glamorous and beautiful. It was like girls' night out. I mean, I can show you, but I also can't show you. They were so good. It's not even funny. You know what I mean? Anyway, the shoot day was amazing. So I was like, okay, I gotta be Playmate of the Year. And allegedly, it's by popular vote. But I was like, I don't really think that's it. So what I would do is every week I would go into the Playboy office and walk around and shake hands with the employees and just talk to them. I would always go. Playboy had these happy hours every other Thursday. I believe it was every other Thursday because there was a bar in the Playboy headquarters. So every Thursday or every other Thursday, every first Thursday, every last Thursday, something like that, they would have happy hour for all the employees and they invited a lot of the Playmates to come. I went to every happy hour. I was there dancing, socializing, having fun, schmoozing, maneuvering, shaking hands, doing my thing, right? I did segments for Playboy Radio. I did a lot of the activities and the jobs. Whenever they had a Playboy job for me, I did it. I showed up. I went to the what was it? Midsummer Night's Dream Party. That was great. Oh my God, I never talked to you about 2008. I used to watch The Girls Next Door. Do you remember that show? I used to watch that show not because I wanted to be a playmate, but I just thought the show was so cool. I just loved the idea of it. I thought it was so interesting, and they always had the big episode about the Midsummer Night's Dream Party, and I always wanted to go to that. Here I am, playmate, going to the damn party at the Playboy Mansion. So, it's just been in my life, right? All right. So one day they called me into the office. Playboy has an office at the time, Playboy had an office in Burbank, and then they had an office in Beverly Hills. So they called me. So one day they called me into the office, and they were like, Eugenia, we have something very important to show you. We want to show you your editorial. So I'm like, okay, fantastic. And so they bring me into this room, and they were like, close your eyes. So I closed my eyes, and they bring out this, and they were like, oh my gosh, your shoot was so good. We put you on the cover. We put you on the December cover, and it's one of the most coveted months to be on the cover and in Playboy, because it's just one of the best months. And one of the women I love so much, Marilyn Monroe, she was the first Playmate on the December cover. They stole her image and put it on there without her permission. But she was the first Playmate on the December cover, was Marilyn Monroe. So this is my December cover. And what's great is I remember doing this shot. We were in the tub, and I was just working, and the photographer Josh said, okay, last frame, literally the last click, do whatever you want to do. So I just went, and this is the thing. This landed on the cover. I was like, oh my gosh. So this is just so me, and it was just a big surprise. It was just a big surprise. And my sister was there with me, so we got to experience this together, and that was just such a great moment. So that was that. After that, I was like, okay, cool, let's kick it into high gear. They love me. So again, I would come into the Playboy offices and just walk around to everybody and talk to everybody and just start conversation, and like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Hey, what's your name? Oh my God, I love you so much. Stuff like that. And they would be like, Eugenia, can you sign my issue? Can you sign my issue? So I would just walk around to all the employees and like sign the issues. And this is the centerfold. The centerfold is, I can't even show you this either. Just naked. The centerfold is, the thing that you drop down. So they were like, Eugenia, can you sign my centerfold? So I would go around and sign everybody's little magazine. So one day I got called into the office again, a random day, and they were like, okay, meet down in the basement. So I met them down in the basement. It was this dark basement with one chair in the middle of the room and like a spotlight coming down, and it was like the CEO. It was like 4 important people. They were just like, we want to let you know that you've been selected as Playmate of the Year. And I was like, what, really? Oh my gosh, wow, what? Oh my gosh. And they were like, yes, we are so happy to have you. We love you so much. You just bring you're a breath of fresh air. You bring a new light into the office and to the company and to the organization, and we just love you, and we're so excited to have you here with us. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is just so great. So that's how I became Playmate of the Year. Now what that means is I get another issue all to myself with me on the cover. I get $100,000. I got a new car, Excuse me. And I think that was it. I got $100,000 in a new car. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. That was a lot. That was great. That was fantastic. I needed a new car and I needed a raise in my life. So it was perfect. And the car that I got was the perfect car. It was perfect for me. It was a 2017 Fiat Spider, and I went to the showroom and got the one with everything on it, like right off the showroom. So, I mean, it was just a really, really fun time. The announcement, oh my gosh, I'm missing the biggest piece. Please. I went way too fast. Okay. This Playmate, Playboy, Playmate, Playmate of the Year situation did not go without a big hiccup. And this is one of the biggest lessons I learned in my life. Oh my gosh, I will never forget this lesson. I guess I did need to learn it, because if I would have done it differently had I known better. You saw the first cover, right? This is the first cover. So it was time for me to do my Playmate of the Year shoot. It was fantastic. They flew in a photographer from London. Her name is Emma Somerton. She shoots for UK Harper's Bazaar, Vogue, ID, very big magazines in the UK. So they flew her out to shoot me. And we were in this big all-white mansion in Hollywood Hills. Everything, like I said, was all white. It was very modern. Everything was like marble and just very, very beautiful, but like I said, all white. And her idea was, since I'm black, I was gonna be the color in the house. And of course, she had this really sexy but very minimalist inspiration. So she had Naomi Campbell and Iman and these very beautiful shapes and like this beautiful contrast. And we spent all day like really carving out these scenes that I was going to do. And oh my God, it was just so beautiful. Now for me, I know who I am and I know how good I can get, and I know how to do me, right? And I'm always trying to outdo myself because I know what I can do. And also I know what people want to see out of me. And I understand the image I put out for a specific reason, right? So this cover, great cover. Nice, laughy, jokey, smiley. But this next cover was very beautiful, very strong, very elegant. And in my mind, it was an elevation from that cover. Like everything I do, it has to top the last thing, right? So, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. These are the images from that day. When I saw these on the monitor, I was like, oh my gosh, I love who I'm becoming. I love the image I'm putting out. I love what I stand for. I was just so in love with the art I was creating, what I was doing with myself. And my body, because I used to be like, I had a gap and big lips and I was very skinny, and like, I wasn't that girl growing up when I was young, but of course you're not. But like now as Playmate of the Year, and I'm using my body in this way, and everything is just grown. The way I've grown and who I've grown into is just so beautiful that I loved it, and I couldn't wait for these to come out. Like, this was everything. This one was supposed to be the cover. Now, just imagine the words Playboy over the top of this image, and this being the First Non Nude Playmate of the Year cover. Genius. I could not wait for these to come out. I was like, you're not gonna be able to tell me shit. So happy. A week before we were going to announce me as Playmate of the Year, I got a call from one of the executives at the organization, and they said, Eugenia, we all met up and we thought that your image was a little too strong, and we think that you're nice and fun, and we just, we love your personality, and so we want to spice it up a little bit. We really want to show your personality, and so we're going to do a reshoot. And I was like, that is one of my personalities, though. Beautiful, strong, elegant, statuesque, glamorous. That's one of my personalities as well. Of course, I can do nice, laughy, jokey, sunshine. Oh my God, hi, Valley Girl. I can definitely do that. But that's another one of my personalities as well, and it's equally as good. And it's an elevation from what I've done before. Like, I don't want to reshoot. And they were like, we have to reshoot because it's just too strong. It's just too strong. So they pulled together this shoot last minute, literally within a week. And they were like, we want to shoot this in another week. They pulled it all together last minute, and we ended up shooting at, I guess, Jimi and Hendrix's old house in Laurel Canyon. When I get there, they're like, we think you're like, rocker chick, very like cool rocker chick. And so that's what we want to come across. That's the idea we want to come across. Like, we think you're just a fun Laurel Canyon rocker chick. And the inspiration for that was these blonde girls, these 70s blonde girls with, those basketball shirts that are white, and then they have like black arm sleeves or like yellow sleeves or red sleeves. White girls with those shirts on with like star glasses and the hippie things and roller skates. And they were like, we just think this fits your personality so much better. And I get there and I'm looking at this and I'm like, absolutely not. This is not my personality. I'm not a rocker chick. I don't even listen to rock. I don't even know what Laurel Canyon is. I was like, I'm from Palmdale, yes. But whenever you see me, I'm in black jeans, black heels, black leather jacket. I'm very chic. I'm very glamorous. This is not me, and this is not what I want as my Playmate of the Year shoot. What is this? And they were like, no, Eugenia, but, it doesn't necessarily have to be you, and you're an actress, you can act. It doesn't, you can just act it out. And I was like, this is not fair. This is my Playmate of the Year shoot. I want it to be something that represents me. And I was like, I'm not shooting this at all. And they were like, okay, well, what are we supposed to do? And I was like, something, but not this. Like, the inspiration is white hippie chicks for me. So, and mind you, let me tell you something. This is what I forgot to mention as well. Throughout the process of me going from Playmate to Playmate of the Year, I had to have some sit-downs with staff just to talk about how we were going to market me and some questions that I was going to be asked and how to answer them. And when it came down to talking about me being black, they were like, we don't want to mention you being black or being the third Black non-nude Playmate. We just want it to be about you. We don't want it to be about you being black. We just want it to be about you. And I was like, how are you possibly going to make this be about me and it not being about me being black? Like, how would you possibly do that? And they were like, we just don't want to offend anybody. We just don't want to offend anybody. So we're not going to discuss the part about you being African American. So we had that discussion. Now we go into my shoot. My initial shoot was too strong. So now I have to go and do this. I have to go and play the part of this white girl rocker hippie chick as to not make anybody upset.